In the weird news category, I'm loving this. You guys liking this weird news? This, and again, you can't even write this stuff. An inmate in the Ohio State prison system conspired with a buddy of his to fly a drone over the prison yard and drop drugs and a cell phone down to him in the prison yard. Unbeknownst to him, unfortunately, is that the prison yard is under 24-hour video surveillance. So there's a picture of him standing in a prison yard looking like he's waiting for a punt in the NFL. Not well planned, right? Pastor in North Carolina was arrested because he was selling counterfeit Cartier bracelets. They found 3,200 of them in his home. Apparently his building fundraiser wasn't well thought out because he's using all of that now for his legal fees. And I found out this week that I need to pay more attention because apparently this is racist. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I'm a racist now. Because I guess there was a couple of white nationalist guys that were caught doing that, ruined it for the rest of us. So obviously that's kind of an overreaction, don't you think? And also, I found out this week that Tom Brady, I knew there was one. Oh, by the way, this is the only service, too. Tom Brady is not famous because of his 6 Super Bowls. He's not famous for the 3 MVPs. He's not famous because of 14 Pro Bowl selections. Tom Brady is only famous because he's white. White privilege. I knew I didn't like that guy. See, that's ridiculous. He is a super talented guy, and I still don't like him. Okay? Now here's what I'm saying. So it's when people put out that kind of language and that kind of criticism and those kind of accusations, it's not just wrong, it's actually dangerous. It's dangerous. The things are ratcheted up too much. It's just mean-spirited. It's that way. So now, so all of this rage that's going on, and the hateful language, and it's just carelessly thrown out there, and people this whole angry culture, people calling other people racist and making these accusations and personal attacks, the constant gotcha games that are going on all around us, and it's not just politics, guys. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. There's this whole culture, and it's all based on these tiny little pieces of edited information that aren't even the whole truth. Now, here's what I've discovered in 43 years of marriage. What I've discovered is that name-calling and exaggerated accusations generally don't make things better. I'm just smart that way. But name-calling and exaggerated accusations are not helpful. So if you're doing that, in Jesus' name, please stop. Okay? So what that means, I refuse to participate. I can't change anybody else's behavior, but I refuse to participate. How about you guys? I don't want to be a part of that. That's what it is, because it leads to division and destruction. Matter of fact, that's exactly what the serpent used in the Garden of Eden. That kind of division, right? So we as believers, I want to challenge us to rise above that, right? To rise above that. And so it's more than hatred. It's actually wrong on a lot of levels. Like I said, it's dangerous because the children are watching. Now here's the statement I want you to hang on to. This is super important. Okay. If we silence every voice but our own, we silence the potential of the next generation. Okay? That's even good in your house. If your voice is the only voice that matters, you silence the potential of the next generation. It's a big deal. So because there's enormous potential around us. You know that? Enormous potential. And if it stays buried, if it stays unused, then we don't realize its power. Hey, check this out. I got this as a gift. You know what this is? Echo Dot. Everybody say Echo. The Echo Dot. See, this is an amazing piece of technology. As a matter of fact, my 3-year-old grandson knows how to use this. Now this one, this is mine. I got it as a gift. It's brand new. I got it 3 years ago for Christmas. You say, well, it's not new. And I say, no, this is the original packaging. Honestly, never been plugged in. I found it in a drawer in my house. And I said, oh, that's where it went. Okay? And so the reason I'm bringing this up is that this has great potential. But because it was buried, because it was unused, this could do some really cool stuff. But its potential couldn't be realized because of where it was. Okay? So, and we could all really benefit from kind of sitting among the wise just a little bit, don't you think? So that's why I want to talk about this just a little bit today. I'm thinking about this. So the last few weeks, we've been talking about God saying, can you hear me? We've been talking about hearing God's voice much more clearly than we do. So we talked about things like prayer and fast, and we talked about things like meditation and Bible study. So today we're going to talk about something called community. Everybody say community. Okay, so we're going to talk about community, and so we're going to wrap it up with this, right? So now, often people are motivated to relocate. They say, well, I'm going to move to this town or this area because there's this great job opportunity, or I'm going to make more money, or maybe there's relationship stuff that they want to work on, or maybe it's to avoid certain conflicts or whatever. And so now, I'm not saying that this is wrong criteria, but what I'm saying is that this should not be the primary criteria. Because what we don't realize is when we change locations, when we relocate, the cost, what we often sacrifice, is this thing called community. So it's the network that we're involved in, the people that we know, the neighbors, waving hi to somebody as they drive by, the long conversations in Walmart. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's those talks along the way, the people that are around us. It's the help, it's the encouragement, it's the people that say, hey, I saw your kid today, that kind of stuff. See that kind of a network. See that's what's lost. And so that encouragement, the history, the legacy, and that's often the unknown cost of relocation. Now, the reason I say that, so for this concept called community, I want to call this today, I want to call it learning to sit among the wise. Learning to sit among the wise. Now, that starts with realizing that you are not always the smartest person in the room. I know, I'm shocked too. You're not always the smartest person in the room. Matter of fact, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20, it says it so perfectly. It says, he who walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools suffers harm. Or the Day version, if you hang out with people that are wiser than you, you could possibly pick up some wisdom. But if you hang around with people that are as dumb as you, so now, I wasn't very good at this when I was young, because I often preferred to sit with the arrogant and the angry. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Didn't want to hear it. I already know everything. This guy. So he walks with the wise, becomes wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. So now, I remember when we first got in church, I loved hanging out with the old guys. I loved it. And not because I was something special or something like that, but they had something that I really want. In fact, I remember an older gentleman, and his name was Brother Wickweir. I still don't know what his name was. I just assumed it was brother. But when it would be prayer time, I would get down to pray. And I'm kneeling down there, and I'm praying. I'm going, God. I mean, I'm running out of stuff like fast. And then I'd hear Brother Wickwer praying. And he was just having this incredible, deep, personal conversation with God. He'd be talking to God about his grandkids and how he dreamed for his grandkids to have this kind of future. And God, I just need you to just open their eyes and help them understand because I love them. I mean, he just had this incredible, incredible prayer life. And I remember that when it come prayer time, instead of me praying, I would just kind of scoot over next to him. And I listened to him pray going, ooh. And all I could think of when I was praying is, yeah, God, me too. Yeah, what he said. And I remember one day, I walked in, and Brother Wickwer, he patted the bench where he was kneeling down. He goes, kneel down right here next to me, boy, and let's learn how to pray. See, I love sitting amongst the old men. Now I am the old man. But I love it when the younger sit with me. See, it's not just age of perspective. But see, often God's voice is revealed through those relationships that are interwoven in and out of the church. And when I talk about the church, I'm not talking about the building or the services. I'm talking about this growing, changing. It's young, it's old, it's solid, and it's struggling. It's this diverse group of people that we call New Life, right? And so it's those you're sitting next to, and those who greet you, it's those who park you, and those who help you, those who serve you, those that talk to you. It's the study groups, it's the small groups, it's the serving teams, it's the work projects, it's the ball games, it's the barbecues, it's the birthdays. You see what I'm talking about? The church, that's the power of community. And God will most of the time in our lives not simply speak through just this. Oftentimes God will speak through this. And we need to be able to hear it. So here's the thing. So God is definitely not silent. So that's why we're saying that God is asking the question, can you hear me? So here's the great challenge for you and I today. If God is going to speak through us through this thing called community, the people around us. Now, the reason God speaks through the people around us is because these are people that know God and they know you. It's huge. What a cool idea. They know God and they know you. That's what qualifies them. So now what makes this difficult, the great challenge, is to be able to hear him speak through those around us, to be challenged and changed. We need to be able to do that without getting our feelings hurt. So here's a scripture for you. This one is just surprising. I was trying to find a different word. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 6. And this is in the New Century Version, but Proverbs chapter 27, verse 6, and just read this with me, okay? The slap of a friend. The slap of a friend can be trusted to help you. But the kisses of an enemy are nothing but lies. What a great, isn't that great? So turn to the person next to you and just say, are you my friend? No, don't do it. This has just turned into a bar fight, man. That'd be bad. Okay. But what an interesting verse, right? See, the slap of a friend can be trusted to help you, but the kisses of an enemy are nothing but lies. See, that's a weird verse. Now, the lessons that I needed to learn, I didn't learn because I'm brilliant. The lessons I needed to learn come from the slaps and kisses. Anybody relate to what I'm talking about? Okay? And so we miss those lessons when we think that every slap is an offense and every kiss is love. Right? Okay? I know some people, they have over 500 friends on their Facebook friends list. I know them. There is no way even close to that many people even like them. Really. In fact, some of the people I know that have huge friends lists, I bet there's not 5 people that like them. I mean, you guys know, right? So, but see, so not everyone we assume is our friend is able to be a good friend. Listen to me. This is where I want to get here. Not everyone we assume is our friend is able to be a good friend. Not a bad person. Just not a good friend, right? See, now when we feel that we can love and trust them and they don't love and trust us back, that's where we get our feelings hurt. So hang on. So something is broken inside. So there's actually 3 kinds of friendships. There are healing friendships, serving friendships, and mutual friendships. Healing friendships is when they are your friend and they're just there to help you and they want nothing in return. Serving friendships is when you are there to help them and you want nothing in return. Mutual friendships are when that love and that care goes back and forth. Now, where we get in trouble is when we assume that all friendships are mutual friendships. Well, I love them this way, so they have to love me back that way. But if it's just a serving relationship, it's not going to work that way. If it's just a healing relationship, it's not going to, and we get our feelings hurt. So we just don't recognize what a friendship is supposed to be. So it's better if I ask myself, what kind of a friendship is this? How is this supposed to process, right? So that keeps my heart from being foolishly broken. Now, so some people that we think are our friend can't actually be that kind of a friend. And some people that we think are our friend are actually not our friends. You know somebody that you've been talking to them and they're telling, hey, I want to tell you about my friend, and you're thinking, dude, they are not your friend, right? Right? And so like anyway, let me just move on. I was going to say something, get in trouble for it, but in fact, he told me he was going to be feeling ornery today. It's like, man, don't get me started. Okay, so wisdom says this. Wisdom says there are friends that we don't know that they're our friends. And there are friends that we don't know are not our friends. So we're going to go through just a quick list of these guys' characters from King David's life. What I want you to do is I want you to write these guys' names down, and I want you to write the name of somebody next to that you know. Okay? So as we go through this lesson, so we're going to start with the friends that we don't know are our friends. So the first one is everybody needs to have a friend like King Saul. Now, King Saul relentlessly pursued David for years. Relentlessly. You say, well, man, he wasn't his friend. Now, hang on. We need something in our lives like Saul that nips at our heels constantly to keep us moving. Because the honest truth is, given the opportunity, we will sit down and do nothing. Right? Isn't that true? That's true. So we need something that nips at our heels and pushes us to keep moving because that develops God's best in us. See, well, how do you know that's right? So it's in Romans chapter 5, verse 3. It says, not only that, but we also rejoice in sufferings because the suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. Or in other words, God uses things to nip at our heels and push us and prod us to make us the people that he wants us to be. So it's a place where the fear of doing nothing is greater than the feeling of exhaustion. Okay? Number 2, we need a friend like Samuel. Samuel in David's life. So Samuel poured wisdom and love and understanding. And so it's a go-to relationship that believes in God's plan for us. We need that kind of a person. Now remember, write a person's name next to that. Think about it, okay? We need somebody that can speak life to us, somebody that will pray for us, somebody that we can respect even when we don't understand. We need that kind of a person, somebody with wisdom that we know that loves us. So, like for me, that person is Pastor James Ranger, Bakersfield. He's my Samuel. As a matter of fact, I called to talk to him last week and kind of share with him what's kind of going on in my life. As we're finishing up the conversation, he asked if he could pray for me, and of course. And it was just weird. When he started praying for me, I just broke down and started sobbing. And I asked myself, dude, why is this happening? And I felt God speak to my spirit. Say, because he loves you like Samuel. So I've had a lot of people pray for me. I appreciate it. Matter of fact, don't stop praying for me. Because you really need the practice. Okay? I mean, seriously. Okay? But see, I genuinely felt that he loved me like family. So it made a difference. So find someone who has walked where you're walking. Even if it was unsuccessful, they learned something along the way, and they can help you. Okay, so they can help you. So the third thing, we need a friend like Solomon. David had confidence that he could pass the mantle to Solomon. Confidence. So it's not always the next in line, but it's always the best choice. And the reason it's the best choice is because you have intentionally spent time with this person. You need somebody in your life that you spend time pouring into. Because if everything you are dies with you, that's crazy. That's a bad idea, right? And so those conversations we have along the way, and it's when they do well, you're not jealous, you're proud. Like, way to go, okay? Someone who matters enough to me that I would give them my best. Number 4, we need a friend like Nathan. Now, here's where it gets rough. Nathan confronted David with his sin, called him out. Called him out. You have anybody that calls you out? See, we need somebody that calls us out that loves us, because there's plenty of people that will call us out that don't love us, right? And so we need somebody like that. So see, one's a critic, the other's a coach. See, the critic makes us bitter. The coach makes us better. See, sometimes people are so blinded by rebellion, they see every correction as an attack. So what are you saying, Pastor Dave? Don't be uncoachable. Okay? Number 5, we need a friend like Shimei. Now this is hard, because David was being run out of his own city, by his own son, and this guy named Shimei was along the roadside cussing at him, throwing rocks at him, kicking dirt, just being mean, you're this, you're that, this kind of stuff. So you say, well, he's his friend. Just hang on a minute. Matter of fact, I love this. One of David's guys says, we'll just kill him. That's right. Sounds like a good plan. But we need a guy like Shimei. Why? Because see, here's the deal. There will always be somebody like that in your life. Always. We will never, ever be able to silence the critics. There will always be somebody that's mean-spirited. Always be somebody that's calling you names. There'll always be somebody that's talking behind your back. How many of you guys know this? Say, well, I haven't heard him talking behind me. Because it's behind your back. Come on, okay? And so now, and here's the problem. Defending ourselves makes us look guilty. Because there's a threat of truth. And the more you defend yourself, the guiltier you look. So here's your solution. Here's how you deal with the Shimei stuff. Small people talk about people. Big people talk about progress. Be a big people, okay? See, Shimei helps us keep it real. It forces us to ask good character questions of ourselves and be able to respond in the right way with not allowing the emotion to control the conversation, okay? See, rumors don't die. We just outlive them, not outrun them. So just outlive it. We need a friend like Goliath. You mean Goliath was David's friend? We need something in our lives that is so big, it absolutely requires God to show up. You need something in front of you that is so huge where you're going, oh God. God, if you don't show up, I am dead meat. Right? We need something else, because our weakness is always man-sized, but you know what? Our victories are always God-sized. We need something in our lives. We need something like that drives us. So see, courage isn't a lack of fear, but it's an abundance of faith. See, Goliath stirs something up in us that God has deposited in us that we don't even know that is there. We need those big, giant challenges in our life to help us see the potential on the inside. So who's the friend that pushes you to be better? Who is that one that pours out their best in you? Who is the one that you give your best to? Who is that friend that loves you and confronts you? Who is the one that criticizes you? Makes you check yourself. And who's the one whose challenges just scare that snot out of you? See, those are good friends. Now there's also friends that are not your friends. These are not your friends. I'm going to finish this up real quick, okay? Friends that are not your friends, that you think are your friends. Absalom is not your friend. See, Absalom was David's own son, but he had a secret agenda. Now see, where'd that come from? Absalom was the product of the stuff that David refused to see. We have stuff in our life where it's going on, we're like, you see that? Nope. It's the stuff that we avoid, the stuff that we deal with. Okay, so it's made up of the issues that we put off and we ignore. So the Absalom stuff, what happens is it gains secret strength in our life. You follow me? It gains secret strength in our life, and it will try to take things over if we do nothing. So friends, Absalom is not your friend. Number two, Abishai is not your friend. Remember I talked about the guy that he told David, let's just kill him? See, there's the Abishai in us wants to respond like that without thinking. Anybody know what I'm talking about? See, Abishai is your first response. You know, somebody speaks up, you throat punch them, you know? And then you're looking for bail, right? You see, so Abishai's not different, even though he stands beside you. Okay? So he's compulsive, he's harsh, he's moved by emotion just for the moment, right? So, see, where Abishai speaks to our lowest nature, Nathan speaks to our higher nature. So we've got to respond the way. So when we allow the emotion of the moment to rule our day, oftentimes we forfeit our destiny. Anybody ever let your emotion respond and you just make a huge mistake? I need a couple friends, just a couple friends, okay? Where something rises up in you and like, I'm going to say it, I'm going to do it, and then later it's like, oh, what was I thinking? Abishai. Okay, got it? It's not your friend, okay? Number three, Achish is not your king. Who's Achish? Achish was the Philistine king. When David was running from Saul, he went to the land of the Philistines and made friends with the Philistine king, and he gave him the city of Ziklag. So here's what I'm saying. Here's why Achish is not your friend. When we are comfortable with what is not okay, with what we know is not okay, it's not okay. Check this out. I'm going to throw this out there, and if you get your feelings hurt, you just got to just deal with it, okay? When it comes to drinking, there's people that I love and care about that are fighting for every fiber of their life to not drink because drinking has destroyed their families, their lives, this kind of stuff. They're fighting with everything. I care about them so much that if I drank, it would be offensive to them. Okay? Because, see, when it comes to kind of, see, now when we're comfortable with what we know is not okay, when we're okay with not being okay, it's not okay. Right? Easy? All right? So, see, and being too familiar with the other side, we lose sight of the right side. Number four, this is a no-brainer. This is easy. Bathsheba is not your friend. Not even your girlfriend. Bathsheba was that girl where David sent his guys off to fight the battle. He stayed home. He walked along the rooftop. He looks over the side and he sees a naked lady. That's your first clue. You know, not everybody picks up on this stuff, but I have discernment. He looks over and sees the naked lady. All right. So, and it's, the look won't kill you. The length of the look will kill you. That's good advice right there. Now, here's why there's a problem. If David would have been doing what David was supposed to do, David would have never seen the naked girl. Okay? See, here's the deal. See, Bathsheba, the Bathsheba in our life captures our attention when we disengage. See, we all have our Achilles heel. We all have our weak areas. We all have this stuff that we wrestle with. Isn't that true? That stuff will show up when you disengage. When you get your feelings hurt, when you don't like something, when you get a tude going on. I need just a couple friends help me out. Okay? You know what I'm talking about. It's like, you take this stuff, you know. Okay? So So what happens is Bathsheba captures our attention when we disengage, and then she captures our heart when we become dissatisfied. And of course, then it's his history. Araunah is not your friend. He was the guy that he was going to give David the place for David to build the temple. And David said, no, I can't give God that cost me nothing. See, here's the deal. There's no victory without sacrifice. If it didn't cost you anything, it's not a win. If you show up to the ball game and the other team forfeits, that's not a win. You can't go away saying, we won the game. You didn't play. There's no victory without sacrifice. See, when we sidestep the process, we sacrifice our character. The stuff that gets built along the way. So don't fall for the same thing that the devil's been using all along. And the last one, we'll wrap it up with this. Ziklag is not your friend. Ziklag was the place, not a person. Ziklag is not your friend, okay? Ziklag says this, you can join the battle, and then when things get sticky, when things get messy, you can disengage. Ziklag is a hiding place. It's the place that we go when things start going poorly. Ziklag is the place where we hide when we don't want to have to deal with the drama. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You there yet? Ziklag is the place we go. So now here's the deal. See, it's not that Ziklag is all bad, but it's not all good either. But it's why we avoid commitment. Why we hide in the shadows. Why we keep the back door open. Oh, that was hard. Ziklag seems like a safe place to hide, but see, it's the potential that lies within. But because it stays disengaged, disconnected, the potential is never realized. Stays new, but not really. It actually gets old. Anybody ever play hide and seek? You know hide and seek? How many of you guys were like really, really good hiders? Okay, now here's why you ruined the game. You that were really good at hiding, yeah, I'm talking to you, Deb, yeah. Is when they couldn't find you, they gave up. Right? Now you thought you won. No, you didn't win. You ruined the game. Because when they can't find you, it's not fun anymore. If you hide too good, it's not fun anymore. I'm just picking on you. You guys know. See, when Adam and Eve hid themselves among the trees, you know, just the irony of thinking that you're hiding from God. Think about that. You know, it's like the toddler. You know, they're hiding. Right? So when God shows up on the scene, when Adam and Eve are hiding among the trees, he asks this question. Where are you? When God asks you a question, he already knows the answer, by the way, just letting you know. Matter of fact, gentlemen, wives do the same thing. Ain't it true? Ain't it true? Where are you? And it's not that God didn't know where they were. He just didn't know why they were hiding from him. Why are you hiding from my plan and my purpose? What happened in you that made you think that I would stop loving you, that I would stop caring about you? Why are you hiding when I have nothing but your best in mind, even if you failed? When God is getting ready to change your life drastically, your Ziklag will burn. If you've been hiding and it feels like your hiding place is being found out. My friend, God is getting ready to pour out His blessing and His favor and His direction in your life like you've never seen before. God's doing it. Why? Because He cares and He loves you. Here's what's interesting when you follow that story past Ziklag. Ziklag was burned with fire, and they've gone through this stuff where they got their families back, this kind of stuff. And David sits down after it's all over, and he asks a question that is easy for us to ask, and I think some of us are asking it right now. Okay, God, now what? How many of you are in a place right now where you're saying, okay, God, now what? Come on, you're saying, okay, God, now what? I've gone through all of this kind of stuff. I've fought these battles. I've done all these things. I've tried to do the right thing. I really don't know what the next step is. Okay, God, now what? Now what do I do? Where do I go from here? God answered. He said, David, it's time to come home. Stop hiding. Stop worrying. Stop fighting. Just come home. You see, sometimes we've been fighting everything for so long, struggling to keep ourselves alive, hanging on with every fiber of our being, where it feels like it's blow after blow after blow and things that have been happening. And it feels like the only thing we know how to do is fight. We even forget why we're fighting. We find ourselves in now what category? I have to stop fighting. Just come home. Lay down your sword. Lay down your shield. Come out from behind that tree. Let's go home. Could I get you to bow your heads and close your eyes for a moment, please? I think there's people in this house today. There's been a battle going on inside of you. There have been conflicts and losses and struggles and breakdowns. Or you're exhausted, but you're always on the defense, constantly. And you're saying, now what? If that's you, just show me your hand. Come on. Come on, yeah. Anybody feel the tension constantly? When you can't relax, you can't sit down, you can't enjoy anything? Because these battles have just been so consistent, you're afraid to stop? If I'm talking to you right now, just show me your hand. Say, Pastor Dave, that's me. That's where I'm at, man. Thank you. Friends, I am so glad that you're tired of fighting. Because God is not tired of loving. Could you stand to your feet, please? I love this community we call New Life. I love it. And seriously, when you look around the room a little bit, and you get to know a few of the people around here, it's so diverse. If you can't fit in, we probably never met anybody as jacked up as you. Just kidding. You're surrounded with people that have had broken lives, broken relationships, broken promises. You're surrounded by people that have made huge mistakes. You're surrounded by people that have had struggle after struggle. You're surrounded by people that still have a long way to go. You may know what I'm talking about. Welcome to the community of new life. That's who we are. Some are doing well, some not so much. So the invitation today is, if you're tired of fighting, it's time for you to let God do some loving. Okay? Now, what we want to do before we finish up today is we want to start with your relationship with Jesus. I don't want to make the assumption that everybody here knows what we're talking about. Okay? Because all of the stuff that I share with you today doesn't even begin until we have that right relationship with Jesus. See, are you telling us we got to be perfect? Oh, God, no. If you got to fix it all before you come to Jesus, we'll just empty this building out now, including me. I'll first to tap out. Okay? What we're talking about is saying, you know what, God? I surrender it all to you. So what we'd like to do is we'd like you to join us in a prayer that we pray. Okay? If you're in right relationship with God, you're just helping us out. But if you're not in right relationship with God, you're joining this jacked up community of new life. Okay? Pray with me. God, thank you for the gift of your Son. He took all my failures, the past and the present, everything that I've done, everything done to me, and he took it to the cross. There it's completely gone. It's forgiven as I surrender it to you. I embrace this new life. I belong to you. My whole future. In Jesus' name, amen. Congratulations. Now for part 2. If you're tired of fighting. In fact, this might even be a good time to turn a person close to you and say, you know, I'm tired of fighting. Now, if they got defensive, they're tired of fighting too. You tired of fighting? If you're tired of fighting, it's time to let God do some loving. Okay? So when we close the service out, our prayer partners are up here. Let them pray for you. Respond to that. Okay?